One of Us is a dialogue podcast profiling people in and around the Diocese of Wilmington. It also appears in writing in the print edition and online at thedialogue.org. The featured subject could be someone who works behind the scenes at your school or church, volunteers at the parish, or is a regular churchgoer or longtime parish member. Do you want to suggest a person to be profiled? My name is Joseph P. Owens, and I'm editor and general manager here at The Dialogue. Drop an email to me at jowens@thedialogue.org or call 302-295-0695 if you have a suggestion for an interview subject. Walker Pollard is a parishioner at St. Thomas More in Newark, St. Thomas More Oratory. More about that, his connection to that. But he was nominated as a One of Us candidate by William Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
William. Okay. So, Walker, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
Welcome. Walker is not a typical interview subject from St. Thomas More Oratory in that he's not a student at the University of Delaware. Tell us, Walker, about your affiliation here.
Yeah, so I actually serve here as a focus missionary for the University of Delaware students. And so, it's going to be finishing up my first year here, but it's been really good.
Yeah, so avid dialogue readers will know what Focus is because we did a nice feature on Focus when the two ladies first arrived here. But why don't you give us a quick 30-second what Focus is here at the Oratory?
Focus, we're the Fellowship of Catholic University Students.
Right.
We are a missionary organization that, we place missionaries at college campuses and, are just focused on, doing evangelization, bringing people into the church, forming our students through Bible studies, through small group discipleship, and ultimately, trying to be able to equip them to be on mission as well, wherever that takes them in life, So I'd say that's like a synopsis, I guess.
Right, and the group here started 2 years ago with two ladies who are finishing up their time here at Delaware at the end of this semester.
That's true.
But you are back next year.
I will be back next year,
and
yes, sir.
Hopefully with a colleague or two? Or?
Yeah, so we'll get two new women missionaries and a new male missionary as well to be my teammate. So
that's great, and we're breaking news here on One of Us. We're telling people something they didn't know before.
There you go, yeah.
So we're here to talk some about you, Walker. So tell us, where did you grow up? And you've already talked about how long you've been involved with St. Thomas More Oratory. It's been this particular year, but tell us about where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm from Virginia, Bedford, Virginia. It's down kind of in the center of the state near Lynchburg. If you're familiar with there.
Yep.
And beautiful area, in the mountains, nestled away, small town, community and stuff. So,
Where did you go to college?
I went to the University of Virginia in Charlottesville.
Nice.
And I just graduated a year ago, I guess now. So,
Right. So tell us about your career aspirations and also a little bit about your family.
Sure, yeah. So my career aspirations, I would say, I majored in computer science, so kind of a shift here into mission work, going from computers to people, kind of the exact opposite.
Right.
But I'd like to get back into the field, I think, at some point, and down the line, eventually, I think I might like to teach or go back and get more education, be able to be a professor or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's just sort of ideas, and my family. I'm the oldest of three, pretty, normal cradle Catholic family.
So, this is about community here at Focus and St. Thomas More Oratory, and your role as part of that community, and obviously it's also about spirituality. Are you able to tell us, what would you tell us is the most important part of your spirituality?
Sure. I mean, I think a big thing for me in my spirituality, obviously, mental prayer, mass, the sacraments, like your standard foundation that I think everyone needs. But I think something that I really appreciate and kind of maybe is unique or special to my story is like when I was during my time at UVA, they have the Dominican friars there, and so I just think like the way that they, I don't know, engage the faith like very intellectually, and just like their sort of the way that like they seek to understand like everything, and I just think like being able to understand ourselves and like just I don't know different virtues and like understand God as like best as we can. I just think helps a lot. Because it's like you can't love what you don't know, or you can't preach what you don't know, and so that's something for me that has been a blessing. Is just like the way that they kind of convey that, I guess, and not that it's just about knowing things, but I think it's a good foundation
And connection. And this is where we usually ask, what is it that keeps you going in your connection with the church? So I guess in your case, it's even a little bit of a step further because you are a missionary. So what is it that keeps you going?
Yeah. Obviously, my connection to the church is pretty solid in that I work pretty directly in the like outreach of the church. But I think what keeps me going in mission is definitely just like obviously, like I mentioned, prayer and the sacraments like are super important, and like we have to be receiving in that way to be able to do what we're doing. But I think also just like the joy and just like the joy that comes along with the life lived like for Christ, and just like living by, I'm just super convicted that living by the church teaching is like what really allows people to flourish and be happy. And the ways that I've seen it in people in my life and in my own life, but like I just want other people to be able to experience that. And when you find something so good, like you want to share that with others. So I would say that is one of the things that keeps me going.
Pretty strong. So those are a lot of things that you've described in your life, and we kind of like to change it up some and say, if there's one thing you could change in your life, you ever thought about that? If there's one thing you could change, obviously, I guess everybody thinks about that.
Yeah, you definitely think about it. What I would change, I really, really just had a super like blessed experience in college, and I think the one thing I would want to like change is just like the closeness of the friends that I had from college. Like obviously when you graduate, you just sort of, move away or whatever, and like the distance and things, and everyone gets busy. And so, I just like, I'd love to be able to spend more time with them and, more time, just be closer to my college friends. But, that's a pretty normal like part of graduation, obviously.
Absolutely.
But who wouldn't want to, go back to
of course,
friends right by them all the time.
Life moves on. Yeah. It sounds like you're pretty well grounded. This may have happened to you in this role, but so if a non-church member comes to you and says, "Why should I be Catholic?" What would you tell them, or what have you told them? Yeah,
I think the most obvious answer is that just the Catholic Church specifically, has the fullness of the truth, and I think it's also probably like really the only group nowadays that even would make that claim. So like not only are we convicted in that, and I'm convicted in that, but I think a lot of places where you just see so much relativism, even sometimes in our Protestant brothers and sisters sometimes, and I just think like with the Catholic Church, we have the fullness of the truth, we have the fullness of revelation, and with that, like, I don't know, just like why wouldn't you want to be in that? But there's other things too, obviously. Like I just feel strongly that, like I already mentioned, just like living by what the church outlines is like she's there for a reason, and her teachings are what lead to flourishing, and like God gives us His law and His commandments, and asks these things of us for our own good, as well as His and others. But like your life just will be better, and you'll find the fulfillment that you're looking for. in the church.
Have you experienced that circumstance in this role, or at other times somebody's come up and said, "Hey, why should I be a Catholic?" Well, give me a reason.
Yeah, I've experienced that a little bit. I feel like sometimes people here, they're not as open as, I don't know, other places maybe. Students like outside the faith, sometimes they kind of just have their mind made up, unfortunately, but I've definitely like had those conversations and stuff in college, or even like as folks missionaries, we do like our own support raising to be here, and so I have like supporters and stuff that maybe aren't necessarily Catholic, but they just believe in what we're doing as a whole, helping people out and stuff, and so I've definitely had those conversations.
Yeah.
And I usually go something along those lines, maybe less blunt, but
yeah, conversations about faith. So I'll put it right out there.
Mm-hmm.
What does your faith mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my faith, I feel like it's pretty much central to my life. I mean, I don't really know where I would be without the faith, and so I guess in a sense it kind of means everything. But not that there's not other things in my life that are important too, but I don't really know like what I would do without it.
Very thoughtful. Yeah. So thank you for doing this, Walker. It's been great meeting you.
Thank you, you too. Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to just share a little bit, and I'm honored to be chosen to speak with the dialogue. So I know y'all do good work.
I appreciate that. And thank you for joining one of us, a profile on people who support the church in the Diocese of Wilmington. And don't forget to follow us online at thedialogue.org for your latest in Catholic news and features.